And good morning. Yes, I'm Michelle Doyle-Wildman. I'm Policy Director of PTA UK, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to join you this morning to really help put into context with academic research PTA UK's own parent survey findings and also touching on the HMC's own polling to really help us all understand why working with parents is so important. I'm very, very aware this room is filled with great experience and skill in terms of parental engagement and indeed public speaking. However, whether it's investing in staff training, using communications to the full, or setting up a parent consultation group, I hope to inspire you to keep your approach fresh so that you can future-proof your school to meet the increasingly complex needs of both your pupils and your parents. So, what I'm going to cover in the next 20 minutes or so is three main areas. Why this is a good time to consider working more closely with parents. Obviously, we've heard very much from Rosemary and her experience. It puts it into a really good context. What parents have told us through research and also through our surveys, and a few kind of, if you like, little nuggets of inspiration of what you can take away straight away and progress in your school. But first, a little more background into PTA UK. We are the leading, in fact, Parent-Teacher Association membership body, and we've been championing parents in education for over 60 years in one form or another. Our members can be found in 50% of all schools across England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and in both the state and independent sectors. So, of course, if any of your PTAs are currently not in PTA UK membership or would like to learn more, we'd love to hear from them. So we're all about championing all the ways that parents can participate positively in education so that every child can thrive and reach their potential. From supporting, learning, volunteering and building a community, we support parents and parent groups to understand their value beyond fundraising, which is obviously what PTAs are traditionally thought of as being. And in this spirit, we've recently joined forces with Parent Councils UK to run training for schools to improve their capacity to engage and involve parents. So why is this a good time to work more closely with parents? And again, obviously this conference is driven by an understanding that our changing political, economic and social landscape is impacting on families and hence our schools. You will have experienced the whole spectrum, from increasing expectations among some parents through to others who are very time poor or otherwise difficult to engage. And although the vast majority of our pupils are happy and doing well, more than before are struggling under the pressure to succeed or seeking support for mental health issues. The bottom line is that our children's academic, behavioural and well-being issues can only be tackled through an effective collaboration between pupils, parents and educators, and there is no time like the present to get stuck in. But does the value of parental engagement in school have any basis in evidence? The evidence is unequivocal. When it comes to how well a child does at school, parents really do matter. And many of you would have been very familiar with John Hattie's work, where he in his seminal 2008 study found that a student's career can be boosted by up to 2 or 3 years through parental engagement. And also more recently, the Welsh Government's toolkit on involving families and communities said that schools that are able to engage with families and community groups as serious and practical partners in education will be exerting a powerful lever through which to raise standards and improve well-being. Also, you may be aware of the work that came out last week from OECD on student well-being, which also concluded that relationships between parents and teachers were absolutely crucial. So I would ask you, are you and your school geared up to reap the benefits of effective parental engagement? So what do we know about the state of play on parental engagement, parent views and parent wants? Last year, PTA UK conducted an independent desk research of all the recent academic work done internationally. This is available on our website for anyone who wants to take a look. And in summary, we found that although we know that parents participating helps children do well, precisely what approaches work is under-researched. And that means it's very difficult to pinpoint what may work within or outside the classroom. We also know there's a lack of guidance for schools on the topic, and that teachers are not routinely trained in parental engagement. So if we're serious about improving parental engagement, we need to address these deficits. And therefore it's great today that you've got a chance to deepen your skills and exchange great practice across state and independent sectors. The research also suggests that many schools are in effect paying lip service to parental engagement by being motivated by school inspection criteria rather than harnessing the power of parents to support learning and achievement. The research also suggests, as backed up by the OECD study, that parents' values and behaviours towards education and their child's school are highly influential. Parents and teachers working together sends a powerful signal to children that they are being supported. Research also found that parents finding time to talk with their teenagers about, say, social or political issues is as valuable as daily reading with a younger child. There are a number of interventions and programmes that you are certainly aware of that increase parental engagement, and they absolutely do work. But what we have found through research is that they have tended to be short-term, possibly due to funding constraints, and therefore the benefits of those programmes have not continued long after they have finished. So the conclusion we draw from it is a need for planned and sustained parental engagement. My own personal conclusion is that although parents and teachers are united in wanting the very best for our children, they are not singing from the same hymn sheet. There needs to be a quid pro quo in this relationships, with both parties understanding each other and willing to give a little to take matters forward. Parents, as Rosemary said, may need reassurance and guidance rather than understanding your pedagogy. Teachers and head teachers have told me that they're finding it increasingly difficult to engage people in, say, the traditional things, whether it's going along to parents' consultation evenings or completing feedback surveys. However, they're standing room only at concerts and at evenings with expert speakers. So are we missing a trick here? So, parent views to help you put yourself in parents' shoes. Our recent annual parent survey was kicked off in October last year, and we found that an overwhelming majority of parents actively support their child's school. And in fact, one point that I would also emphasise is there's a high level of trust. So you might feel that you're getting it in the neck on a daily basis, but the trust and support is there underlying it. The bulk of parents do attend, or say they attend, to supporting learning at home and attending parents' evenings, but far fewer are involved inside the school gates. What was really interesting, though, was a whopping 40% were interested in getting more involved. And certainly it won't surprise you to learn that fathers, older parents and those from a socio-economic background were under-engaged, but certainly there was a big demand there, particularly from fathers. So, different groups experience different barriers to engagement, and it won't surprise you again that lack of time leads the list as to the most popular reason why parents couldn't get more involved. However, a very large proportion, a third, said not being asked. They gave that as the reason why they were not more engaged in school, which rather throws down the gauntlet to those of us involved in communicating with parents. So what about that dialogue with parents? A really, really strong number, 83%, said that their school was good at communicating them, and that's a really good finding. But a whopping 86% want to have a say on how their child is educated, but only half feel that their feedback is acted upon. So what's worrying parents today? The impact of tragedies such as 14-year-old Brett Bednar, who was groomed online and then murdered, and 17-year-old Felix Alexander, who took his own life after being years of bullying via social media, certainly puts these issues in the spotlight. But there are strong indicators that parents want bullying, cyberbullying and emotional and well-being and mental health as included in part of the curriculum, and personally want more guidance. And this was certainly borne out with the very recent polling by PTA UK and the HMC. So to look at that in more detail, both the polls were done much more recently. The PTA UK poll found that only a third of parents felt they fully understood the risks and challenges around bullying, cyberbullying, homework and exam pressures. And only a quarter were in the same boat about mental health issues, drugs, alcohol, gaming, online life and relationships and sexual health. The HMC poll of 500 parents also found that the majority of parents were looking for guidance from schools on helping teenagers with their work pressures and exams, which you would expect and is consistent with previous studies. However, for the first time, the number of parents also seeking support and guidance on social lives, relationships and online activity was pretty much on a par, which definitely tells us something. And we know from the PTA UK research that around half parents really do want more support from schools in these areas. So, taking this forward. So in response to this research and parent insights, what can we do? And I'd like to suggest some actions that you could think about in your school to help you and your school take things from a parent's perspective and to build your school community. So, a fresh start, a fresh look. You've got some great workshops coming up, and I hope you'll be able to take some of that learning straight back into your school community. Can you make a fresh start on how you engage with parents in your school? Can you do more to ensure that parents and educators are genuine partners in their children's learning and development? And can you take a greater part in supporting and reassuring parents? Are you willing to invest in leadership and teacher training and CPD on parental engagement? Can your next training day be around getting more parents to participate positively and in more ways? Could you explore a way for parents to have a say and ensure that your trustees and leaders really know their school? What about a consultative body as part of your PTA or a separate parents forum or council? Can you gather insights from the full range of parents in your school so that you continuously improve your offering and increase satisfaction? And finally, of course, could you consider working with us more closely? We're certainly looking at trying to address some of those gaps in parental engagement training, tools and evidence. So we'll be absolutely delighted to hear from you if you share this mission. And so, finally, that was a very rapid canter, I think, through what the evidence and parents tell us about parental engagement in our schools. So can parents and schools sing from the same hymn sheet? This isn't easy, and there are certainly no shortcuts. But under your leadership, it absolutely can be a reality. The bottom line is that not only is this best for our children, but investment in parental engagement in peacetime can possibly sustain your school if facing more challenging times in the future. And of course, winning the plaudits of parents will also help attract prospective families to your school also. So, I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference and wishing you every success in the future. Thank you.